As the morning sun rises over the smoky remnants of a once vibrant city, the air is thick with the scent of charred wood. Amidst the ruins, a lone figure descends from the capital, his toga heavy with tradition. This is the aftermath of the Gauls' devastating sack of Rome, a pivotal moment that will test the city's resilience and shape its future. The city of Rome, known for its grandeur and legacy, has origins shrouded in myth and legend. What truths lie behind the stories of heroes and gods, and how did a small settlement on the Tiber become the heart of an empire? Join us on a journey through time as we unravel the tales that shaped Rome and uncover the realities hidden beneath its legendary beginnings. In the heart of the Italian peninsula, around 753 BC, a settlement began to rise on the Palatine Hill. This nascent community, surrounded by hills and marshes, was home to shepherds and farmers whose lives were intertwined with the land. As the city took shape, it became a melting pot of cultures and traditions, each contributing to the tapestry of Rome's early history. What stories did these people tell, and how did they envision their place in the world? In the quiet hours before dawn, the streets of ancient Rome were painted in hues of soft lavender and gold as the first light crept over the city walls. The air held a crispness, a gentle reminder of the night's cool embrace, but it was the scent that truly marked the start of a Roman day, the warm, comforting aroma of bread baking in the ovens. This was the daily ritual that connected Roman citizens, from the bustling heart of the marketplace to the quiet corners of the city. In small, bustling bakeries scattered throughout the city, the scene was one of quiet industry. Flour dusted the air, catching the early light in a delicate dance, as bakers, with their sleeves rolled up and brows slightly damp, kneaded dough with practiced hands. The crackling of wood in the ovens provided a rhythmic accompaniment to their labor, a sound as familiar as a heartbeat. These bakers were essential to the life of Rome, working tirelessly to feed its people, from the humble plebeian to the patrician in his grand villa. Bread, a staple of Roman life, was more than mere sustenance. It was a symbol of the city's unity and strength. The grain, often sourced from the far reaches of the empire, spoke of Rome's vastness and its ability to draw resources from distant lands. In a way, each loaf of bread told a story of conquest and connection, of the far-flung territories brought together under Roman rule. As the sun rose higher, the aroma of fresh bread mingled with the lively sounds of the awakening city. It was as if the very soul of Rome was calling its people to gather to partake in the day's commerce and conversation. In the distance, the murmur of the marketplace began to stir. As the sun lifted above the horizon, its first rays kissed the cobblestones of the Roman Forum, painting them with a golden hue. The marketplace, the heart of Rome's vibrant life, began to pulse with the day's energy. Traders unfurled their awnings, revealing goods that glistened in the early light. The air was filled with the mingling scents of exotic spices, freshly baked bread, and the tang of cured meats. A symphony of sounds arose, the clatter of pottery being arranged, the melodic calls of merchants, and the rustling of fabric as customers perused the stalls. By 387 BC, the Forum had become a bustling hub of commerce and conversation. Farmers brought produce from the fertile lands of Latium, their carts heavy with fruits and vegetables. Artisans displayed their wares, each piece telling a story of skill and dedication. Here, traders from distant lands bartered goods brought over land and sea, their languages weaving a tapestry of diversity. Voices spoke of recent news, political intrigue, and whispered rumors of distant battles. Amidst this lively scene, Young children darted between the stalls, their laughter mingling with the chatter of the adults. The Forum was not just a place for business, but a social arena where ideas were exchanged and alliances forged. Citizens gathered to debate and share news, their voices rising and falling like the tides of the Tiber River. In this crucible of culture and commerce, Rome's identity was shaped and reshaped each day. And so, as the day unfolded, the marketplace continued its ceaseless rhythm. As the sun climbed higher, casting stronger shadows, the stories of Rome were etched into its stones. From this bustling center, the people would return to their homes of mud and stone, carrying with them the echoes of the marketplace. As the sun cast its first gentle light over the once thriving streets of Rome, the early Romans found solace in their humble dwellings of mud and stone. These homes, modest in their construction yet filled with life, stood as a testament to the resilience and practicality of the Roman people. Imagine walking through these ancient neighborhoods, where the air carried the scent of damp earth, mixed with the smoke from cooking fires, creating a comforting aroma that spoke of home. The walls of these houses, crafted from sun-baked bricks and held together by a mud mortar, absorbed the warmth of the day and released it at night. Inside, the floors were made of compacted earth, cool beneath bare feet, offering a respite from the heat. Simple furnishings adorned the rooms, with woven mats and wooden stools providing seating. The light filtered through small, high windows, casting soft, shifting patterns on the walls. In these spaces, families gathered around a central hearth, the heart of the home, where meals were prepared and stories of the day's events were shared. The crackling of the fire mingled with gentle voices, creating a symphony of domestic life. These homes, though unassuming, were built with a deep sense of community and tradition, reflecting the values of the early Romans who cherished family and neighborly bonds. Beyond the walls, the sounds of the city were a constant backdrop. The distant chatter of the marketplace, the clatter of wagon wheels on cobblestones, and the occasional cry of a passing vendor wove into the fabric of daily life. And so, these homes of mud and stone stood firm, nurturing the dreams and aspirations of their inhabitants. As the day unfolded, the nearby river whispered its ancient secrets, drawing the listener towards its tranquil banks and the stories of those who lived along its gentle flow. The Tiber River, lifeblood of Rome, meandered through the city like a silent guardian, its waters shimmering under the morning sun. By 387 BC, the Tiber held more than just water. It cradled the secrets and stories of a burgeoning civilization. As mist rose gently from its surface, the scent of damp earth mingled with the subtle aroma of laurel and myrtle, which lined its banks. In those early days, the river was much more than a boundary or a source of sustenance. It was a sacred entity, woven deeply into Rome's mythology and daily life. Legend whispered that Romulus and Remus, the twin founders of Rome, had been set adrift upon its waters, cradled in a makeshift basket. Rescued by a she-wolf, their tale was forever entwined with the river's gentle flow. The Tiber's significance was not only mythological but practical. Its waters provided a vital route for trade and communication, linking Rome with the distant shores of the Mediterranean. Day by day, the creaking of wooden boats and the rhythmic splash of oars punctuated the air, a testament to the river's bustling life. Fishermen cast their nets, hoping for a bountiful catch, while children played along its banks, their laughter carried by the breeze. The river was also a boundary, marking the edge of the known and the unknown, the familiar and the foreign. It was a place where Romans gathered to wash clothes and exchange stories, where news from afar was eagerly awaited. The Tiber was a living, breathing part of Rome, shaping its destiny as much as any emperor or army. And so, as the river whispered its secrets, the children of Rome learned its lessons. In the playful splashes and the murmur of flowing water, they found both games and wisdom, setting the stage for their own stories to unfold. In the heart of early Rome, as the sun's first light gently touched the cobblestone streets, the laughter of children mingled with the soft rustle of olive trees swaying in the breeze. By 387 BC, the city's young ones carved out their days in a world both harsh and wondrous. In the shadow of the Capitoline Hill, where the echoes of history lingered in every stone, children played their timeless games. Wooden hoops clattered along the dusty paths as small hands guided them with expert finesse. The air was filled with the gleeful shouts of boys and girls chasing one another, their sandals kicking up little clouds of dust. Their games, though simple, were imbued with a spirit of camaraderie and competition. The young boys, future soldiers of Rome, often played at battles, mimicking the clashing of swords with sticks and the thud of imaginary shields. Meanwhile, the Roman girls, in their modest tunics, gathered around in circles to sing songs passed down through generations, their voices a gentle chorus against the backdrop of bustling markets. Beside them, the fragrance of baked bread wafted from nearby bakeries, mingling with the fresh scent of laurel leaves, creating a sensory tapestry unique to this ancient city. Education, too, was a crucial part of their daily lives. The fortunate ones would sit under the tutelage of a learned pedagogue who guided their small fingers to trace letters in the sand, the foundation of their literacy. They learned of their ancestors and of the gods who watched over the city, stories told in the warm glow of afternoon light filtering through open windows. As day turned to evening, the laughter and lessons gave way to the rituals of the city. Soon, the Feast of Lupercalia would call all Romans to its ancient traditions, weaving another chapter into their rich tapestry of life. In the heart of ancient Rome, as winter's grip began to loosen its hold, the city prepared for the Feast of Lupercalia, a festival rooted deep in time. The chill of February air mingled with the warm breath from the crowds gathering along the forum, where banners fluttered like the wings of birds against a sky painted in soft pastels. By the year 387 BC, this celebration was a well-worn ritual, a vivid tapestry woven into the lives of Romans, marking a bridge between the old and the new. The Lupercalia was not merely a festival, it was an invocation of the past. Imagine, if you will, the rhythmic beating of drums echoing through the stone streets as priests, known as Luperci, clad in loincloths of freshly sacrificed goats, began their ceremonial run. They carried strips of the animal's hide, the februa, believed to cleanse and purify. The air was thick with the scent of incense and the earthy aroma of wet stone, a reminder of the sacred cave of Lupercal, where, according to legend, the she-wolf had suckled Romulus and Remus. As the Luperci sprinted through the city, their laughter mingled with the gasps of onlookers. Young women reached out to be touched by the hides, a gentle gesture promising fertility and fortune. Above, the sun cast long shadows over ancient stones, illuminating faces filled with anticipation and hope. The day's festivities culminated with a feast, where tables groaned under the weight of figs, olives, and freshly baked bread. In those moments, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the songs of shepherds began to echo from the hills, weaving their harmonious notes into the fabric of the evening, heralding the next chapter in Rome's enduring saga. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm, golden glow over the undulating hills surrounding Rome, the air began to fill with the gentle sounds of shepherds' songs. These melodies, simple yet profound, wove their way through the olive groves and pastures, carried by the cool evening breeze. The shepherds, guardians of the flock scattered across the countryside, would gather at dusk, their voices rising in harmonious choruses that echoed the ancient rhythms of the land. In those days, music and poetry were not merely entertainment, but vital threads in the cultural tapestry of Roman society. Imagine the shepherds, their robes worn and dusted by the day's work, sitting around flickering campfires. The smell of wood smoke mingled with the earthy scent of sheep, and the crackle of burning logs provided a soothing accompaniment to the lilting tunes. These songs, passed down through generations, spoke of heroes and gods, of love and loss, weaving tales that bound the community together. Gaius Fabius Pictor, an early historian of Rome, once remarked on the power of these oral traditions. The shepherds' verses, he noted, were as enduring as the stones of the city itself, preserving the collective memory of a people. It was said that even the mighty Julius Caesar, in his youth, was moved by these ancient songs, their melodies a reminder of Rome's humble beginnings. As the last notes faded into the night, the city below lay in quiet anticipation. The stories sung by the shepherds would echo in the minds of those who heard them, a gentle reminder of Rome's roots as the city of Romulus and Remus the city of the wolf. And as the shadows lengthened, the tale of Rome continued to unfold, waiting to reveal the mysterious shadow of the wolf. As the first light of dawn painted the sky in hues of pale gold, the story of Rome's legendary founders, Romulus and Remus, emerged from the mists of myth. In the heart of ancient Italy, near the banks of the winding Tiber River, it was said that a she-wolf, her fur dark and bristling like the shadows of the forest, nurtured the twin brothers. Abandoned as infants, they found warmth and sustenance under her watchful gaze, her breath mingling with the earthy scent of the riverbank. This tale, whispered among shepherds and echoed through the ages, spoke of their rise from humble beginnings to the founding of a city that would one day rule the known world. Romulus the Elder would eventually become the first king of Rome, his name forever entwined with the city's identity. Under his leadership, the city grew from a cluster of huts into a thriving settlement nestled among the 7 hills, each rise and fall of the land shaping the city's future. In the quiet moments before dawn, as the city slumbered, the memory of these founders lingered, their legacy woven into the fabric of Roman identity. The Romans, ever mindful of their origins, embraced the duality of their mythic start, the wild, untamed strength of the wolf, and the orderly, disciplined civilization they sought to build. And so, the shadow of the wolf stretched across the ages, a reminder of Rome's primal roots and its unyielding spirit. As the sun rose higher, casting a warm glow over the city's cobblestones, the story of Romulus and Remus lived on, a guiding beacon for all who called Rome home. In the distance, the sound of hammers striking anvils began to echo, heralding the arrival of a new day, the forge's glow beckoning with promises of creation and strength. By the year 387 BC, as dawn's light kissed the ancient stones of Rome, the city's heart pulsed with the rhythmic clang of metal against metal. The forge's glow spilled out onto the cobbled streets, casting a warm, flickering dance of shadows that mingled with the morning mist. It was here, in the bustling quarters of the smiths, that Rome's resilience and ingenuity began to shape its destiny. The air was thick with the tang of smoke and the metallic scent of iron, a testament to the ceaseless labor that fueled Rome's rise. In these dimly lit workshops, craftsmen bent over their anvils, their sinewy arms glistening with sweat as they molded raw ore into tools, weapons, and artifacts of both beauty and utility. The ring of the hammer was a constant, echoing through the narrow alleyways, as if singing the city's anthem of perseverance and creation. Among the craftsmen, Lucius, an elder blacksmith known for his skill and wisdom, was a figure of admiration and respect. His hands, calloused yet deft, moved with assured precision, transforming ingots into finely wrought blades. As sparks flew, he would often pause to inspect his work, with eyes sharpened by years of experience, ensuring that each piece bore the mark of excellence required to defend and build a burgeoning empire. This community of artisans, while small, was vital to Rome's economy. Their creations were traded across the lands, drawing both wealth and influence back to the city. The craftsmanship did more than fill coffers. It nurtured a sense of identity and pride among Romans, a whisper of the ancestors' legacy in every crafted item. And so, beneath the forge's glow, Rome began to carve out its future, one hammer strike at a time, setting the stage for the whispers of the ancestors to guide their way forward. In the year 387 BC, as dawn gently spread its golden light over the battered remnants of Rome, a sense of profound duty hung heavily in the air. The streets, still echoing with the chaos of past nights, began to welcome a fragile peace. Among the ruins, the scent of smoke from charred timber lingered, mingling with the earthy aroma of the nearby marshes, a testament to a city that refused to be silenced by its recent conquerors, the Gauls. Gaius Fabius Dorsuo, clad in a toga that bore the weight of his ancestors' traditions, moved with deliberate grace. Each step he took through the debris-laden streets was an homage to the lineage that had shaped him. His heart beat steadily, a rhythmic reminder of the countless Romans who had walked these avenues before him, guided by the whispers of their forebears. As he continued, the sun warmed his back, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch toward a future yet unwritten. In Roman society, ancestry was not just about family ties, but a binding force, a spiritual lineage that connected the living to those who had come before. This belief in the enduring spirit of the ancestors was deeply woven into the fabric of daily life. It was said that the voices of past generations could guide the decisions of the living, offering wisdom and strength in moments of uncertainty. This reverence was embodied in the images of lairs and penates, household gods who protected the family hearth and home. And so, as Gaius moved unwaveringly toward his sacrificial duty, he carried with him the hopes and dreams of those long gone, paving the way for a narrative that would soon turn to the gods of the hearth, where the heart of Roman family life truly resided. In the heart of ancient Rome, the hearth was more than just a source of warmth. It was a sacred space, a link between the mortal and divine. The flickering flames cast a gentle glow across the room, where the air was thick with the scent of burning olive wood and herbs. Here, the Romans honored Vesta, the goddess of the hearth and home. Each household held its own rituals, paying homage to the gods who watched over them. The Vestal Virgins, priestesses dedicated to Vesta, guarded the eternal flame within the temple of Vesta in the Roman Forum. This flame was a symbol of Rome's unbroken spirit, and its continuous burning signified the city's protection. The crackling of the fire was a constant reminder of the divine presence believed to dwell among the people. It was said that should this sacred flame ever extinguish, misfortune would surely follow. In those intimate spaces where families gathered, the Lares and Penates, household deities, were revered with offerings of food and wine. The aroma of freshly baked bread mingled with the rich scent of spiced wine as families performed their daily rituals, whispering prayers for prosperity and protection. The clinking of cups and the soft murmur of voices created an atmosphere of quiet reverence. Meanwhile, outside these homes, the bustling streets of Rome were alive with traders peddling their wares and children playing amidst the noise. Among them, the gods seemed to walk invisibly, their presence woven into the very fabric of daily life. It was this deep connection to the divine that gave the Romans a sense of purpose and belonging. And so, as the hearths burned brightly, families felt the protective gaze of their gods, preparing for the next chapter in their storied lives. Transitioning from the sacred fires, the narrative now turns to the path of the warrior, where a different kind of devotion awaited. In the dim light of dawn, the streets of early Rome lay shrouded in a gentle mist, the air heavy with the scent of smoldering timbers and damp earth. By 387 BC, the city had become a crucible of resilience and ruin. Amidst this backdrop, the path of a Roman soldier was etched with honor and duty, a calling that resonated through the stones of the eternal city. Imagine the clatter of sandals on cobblestones as warriors, clad in leather and iron, assembled before the rising sun. Each soldier carried with him not only the weight of his own armor, but the legacy of his forebears. These men, like Gaius Fabius Dorsuo, were more than mere fighters. They were the living embodiment of Rome's indomitable spirit. Their lives were woven into the very fabric of the city, each thread representing courage, discipline, and unyielding service. To be a soldier in this nascent empire was to embrace a life of rigorous training and unwavering allegiance. The clang of gladius against shield echoed through the training grounds, a symphony of preparation for battles yet to come. Each breath was filled with the tang of sweat and the anticipation of glory. These warriors knew the land as intimately as they knew their weapons, their feet tracing paths along the Tiber's banks and through the forum's bustling heart. Yet, even in the quiet moments, as they stood watch under the stars, the soldiers found solace in camaraderie, their laughter mingling with the crackle of campfires. It was this brotherhood that fortified their resolve, a bond forged in the crucible of shared trials. And so, as the echoes of laughter drift through the early morning mist, one can sense the enduring legacy of these warriors, a testament to the strength and spirit of Rome, which continues to shape the stories that unfold in the heart of this ancient city. In the heart of Rome, beneath the ever-watchful gaze of the capital, laughter once again began to weave through the city's storied streets. It was here, amidst the echoes of a city rebuilding itself, that Romans found solace in humor and entertainment. Imagine strolling through the bustling forum, the air filled with the scent of fresh bread from nearby bakeries, mingling with the earthy aroma of the stone-paved streets, still warm from the day's sun. In the afternoons, crowds would gather at the Theater of Pompey, the first permanent theater in Rome where the laughter of its patrons could rival the sounds of the surrounding city. The theater was a marvel, capable of holding up to 20,000 spectators, its stone arches embracing the clamor of anticipation and excitement. Here, playwrights like Plautus and Terence brought to life the comedic tales that tickled the Roman spirit. Their plays, full of wit and satire, poked gentle fun at the very society that cherished them, offering a mirror in which the Romans could see their own foibles and follies reflected back with humor. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the Tiber River, families and friends would gather in the courtyards of their domus, the homes that dotted the cityscape. By the flickering light of oil lamps, stories and jokes were shared, laughter rolling like a gentle wave through the evening air, a testament to the resilient joy of a people who had known both triumph and tribulation. And so, as shadows lengthened and stars began to twinkle above, the resonant echoes of laughter intertwined with the very fabric of Roman life, a prelude to the rhythmic hum and gentle clatter of the looms, which would soon fill the city with their song. In the heart of Rome, amidst the bustling markets and vibrant forums, the loom's gentle song was a familiar melody. The rhythmic clatter of wooden frames and the soft whisper of threads being drawn through the warp echoed through the narrow streets. It was a sound that intertwined with everyday life, as integral to the city's pulse as the footsteps of its citizens. In the cool dimness of a weaver's workshop, the air was filled with the earthy scent of wool and the tang of dyes, rich with the colors of indigo and crimson, gathered from distant lands. Textiles were more than mere fabric in ancient Rome. They were a tapestry of commerce and culture. The city owed much of its prosperity to this industry, where skilled hands transformed raw materials into exquisite garments. Linen and wool were the most common, but silk, a treasure from the East, was a luxury reserved for the elite. The art of weaving was passed down through generations, each strand telling stories of tradition and innovation. In the year 387 BC, as Rome began to rebuild from the ashes of conflict, the demand for textiles grew. Merchants traded in bustling markets, their stalls lined with bolts of cloth, shimmering in the midday sun. The artisan's skill was revered, their creations prized across the empire. Imagine the feel of a finely woven toga, its weight a testament to the craftsmanship and care woven into every inch. And so, the loom's song continued, a testament to resilience and renewal. As the city's fabric industry thrived, it wove connections across the empire, a silent thread uniting distant lands. In the silence that follows, as the loom rests, we turn our thoughts to a quieter realm where the tombs of Rome hold their own stories, waiting to be whispered. In the hushed silence of early morning, as the first light of dawn gently caresses the cityscape, the Romans begin their solemn rituals. The air carries a faint chill, mingling with the lingering scent of incense, as families gather in the shadow of ancient tombs. These resting places, nestled in the outskirts of Rome, hold stories etched into stone, a silent testament to the cycles of life and death that have defined this civilization for centuries. Imagine the quiet footsteps of a Roman as they approach the mausoleum of their ancestors. The sepulchre is cool to the touch, its marble surface both smooth and unyielding. Here, the living commune with the spirits of the departed, believing that the afterlife is but a continuation of earthly existence. The Romans hold a profound reverence for their dead, seeing them as integral to the fabric of their society. In these sacred moments, they offer libations of wine and olive oil, watching as the liquid glistens and cascades over the stone, disappearing into the earth below. These acts are more than mere gestures. They are a bridge between worlds, a way of ensuring that their ancestors remain honored and at peace. The belief in an afterlife, where the virtuous dwell in the Elysian fields, while the less fortunate wander in shadow, shapes their funerary customs. It is said that the sound of weeping is softened by the promise of eventual reunion, a comforting thought that eases the heartache of loss. And so, As the sun rises higher into the sky, casting long shadows across the ground, the Romans leave the tombs with a sense of fulfillment, their duties to the dead honored. In this tranquil aftermath, the city's elders gather, ready to weave their own tales of wisdom and guidance, preparing to counsel the living with the lessons of the past. In the heart of the beleaguered city, where the ancient stones of the Capitolium still held firm against the chaos, the elders of Rome gathered. The air was thick with the scent of smoke from distant fires, and the morning sunlight filtered through the open ceiling of their meeting space, casting long shadows that seemed to echo the weight of their decisions. Among them sat Marcus Fabius, his lined face a map of Rome's trials and triumphs. The whispers of the city's turbulent history seemed to linger in the folds of his toga as he listened intently to the concerns of his peers. The Council of Elders, a revered assembly, held the responsibility of guiding Rome through its darkest hours. Their voices, seasoned by age and experience, were the steady current beneath the turbulent surface of Roman society. They convened not just to solve immediate crises, but to chart a course for the city's future, drawing upon the collective memory of generations. It was here, amidst the muted rustle of scrolls and the murmur of thoughtful discourse, that decisions of great import were made. The elders weighed the past and the present, considering the lessons laid by ancestors who had once walked these same halls. Their discussions were a tapestry of wisdom, each thread connecting the past to the present. The sound of their voices was a comforting hum, a reminder that even in times of turmoil, Rome stood resilient, guided by the steady hands of those who cherished its legacy. As the sun rose higher, its light revealing the dust motes dancing in the air, the elders reached a consensus. Their decisions would soon give shape to the structures and systems that would define the city. And so, as the echoes of their deliberations faded, the stage was set for the birth of the Forum, where the pulse of Roman life would soon beat anew. As the sun cast its golden rays over the nascent city of Rome, a faint mist lingered, rising like a forgotten memory from the marshes that bordered the Tiber River. It was here, in the heart of the city, that the Roman Forum would be born, destined to become the very epicenter of Roman public life. In those early days, the Forum was but a simple, unassuming clearing. Yet it was here that the seeds of Roman culture and governance took root, nurtured by the ambition and resolve of its people. Amidst the hum of voices and the gentle clatter of sandals on cobblestones, the scent of fresh bread mingled with the earthy aroma of the surrounding hills. The Forum, even in its infancy, was a place where citizens gathered to exchange ideas, to trade goods, and to converse under the open sky. The year was 387 BC, and Rome, though scarred by the recent invasion of the Gauls, was finding its strength anew. Imagine the scene as artisans displayed their wares, their colors vivid against the muted tones of the cityscape. The sound of hammers and chisels echoed softly, as if the stones themselves whispered the city's burgeoning promise. In the midst of this lively tableau, the Forum emerged as a space not just for commerce, but for dialogue, for decisions that would shape the future of Rome itself. And so, the Forum grew, its influence spreading like the gentle ripples of the Tiber. As the city expanded, so too did the importance of this central hub, setting the stage for the next chapter in Rome's evolution. It was here that the Senate would soon call, voices raised in debate, guiding the Republic towards its destiny. In the aftermath of the tumultuous night, as the first light of dawn painted the ruins of Rome with a somber hue, a new chapter beckoned. The Senate, a cornerstone of Roman governance, emerged as a guiding force, shaping the destiny of a city that lay in ashes. Amidst the debris and the acrid scent of charred wood, senators gathered in the Curia Hostilia, the air filled with a mix of smoke and solemnity. Their voices, once drowned by the chaos, now rose with a determined clarity. In these hallowed halls, decisions were made that would echo through history. The Senate, comprised of Rome's most venerable patricians, was not merely an assembly, it was a crucible of ideas and strategies. Here, beneath the high vaulted ceilings, the senators debated fervently, their discussions punctuated by the distant cries of merchants setting up stalls in the forum below. The sound of sandals shuffling across the marble floors mingled with the rustling of togas as strategies were crafted to rebuild and defend their beloved city. Gaius Fabius Dorso's recent act of bravery had reverberated through the Senate, infusing it with a renewed sense of purpose. The senators, many of whom had witnessed the sacking of Rome, knew the weight of their duty. They were tasked with restoring Rome's dignity and ensuring its survival against future threats. It was in these very debates that the seeds of Rome's enduring legacy were sown, the senators' voices guiding the Republic towards resilience and renewal. And so, as the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting long shadows across the ancient stones, the Senate continued its deliberations, setting the course for Rome's future. This was the beginning of a legacy that would be celebrated in tales of heroism and endurance, echoing the stories of Aeneas, whose own journey laid the foundation for this city of destiny. In those ancient days, long before the rise of Romulus, the legend of Aeneas wove itself into the very fabric of Roman identity. Aeneas, a prince of Troy, was said to have carried his father Anchises on his back, escaping the burning ruins of his homeland. With the guidance of the gods, he traversed the stormy seas, his heart heavy with loss yet burning with hope. Upon reaching the shores of Italy, he found not only refuge, but a destiny that would unfold in ways he could scarcely imagine. The Romans, centuries later, saw in Aeneas a reflection of their own resilience, their own indomitable spirit. His journey, fraught with trials and divine interventions, became a cornerstone of their mythology. Aeneas was not merely a hero. He was the progenitor of a people destined for greatness. His tale, filled with the scent of salt from the sea and the glow of the distant fires of Troy, spoke of sacrifice, duty, and the unyielding will to survive. As the mists of time settled over ancient Rome, the citizens would gather around flickering hearths, sharing stories of Aeneas's encounters with gods and mortals alike. The rustling of leaves in the gentle breeze seemed to echo the whispers of those ancient tales, binding the past to the present. Each telling reinforced the notion that Rome was more than just a city. It was a living legacy, born from the courage of one man and his unwavering belief in a future yet unseen. And so, it was through these stories that Romans found strength, from Aeneas to Romulus. The thread of fate wove tightly, setting the stage for a new chapter, a rise not just of a man, but of an empire. As dawn broke, the legend continued to unfold. In the gentle glow of a new dawn, a figure emerged from the mists of legend, a figure whose name would echo through the ages. Romulus, the fabled founder of Rome, stood upon the soft earth of the Palatine Hill. Around him, the land was vibrant with the sense of wild thyme and damp earth, a perfect setting for the birth of a city destined for greatness. Romulus and his twin brother Remus, it was said, were cast adrift on the Tiber River as infants and discovered by a she-wolf whose warm breath and soft fur cradled them in those early days. As they grew, the brothers roamed the rolling hills and lush meadows of the region, their laughter mingling with the calls of distant birds. These lands, with their gentle slopes and fertile valleys, would lay the foundation for Rome itself. But it was Romulus, with his vision and determination, who would carve a city from these wild lands. According to tradition, he traced the sacred boundaries of Rome with a plow, the soil parting beneath the blade in a ritual as old as time. The furrow marked not just a physical boundary, but a spiritual one, infused with the whispers of destiny. With each turn of the soil, the echoes of the past mingled with the hopes of the future. The city took shape, its streets alive with the sounds of builders and craftsmen, the air filled with the rich aroma of fresh-cut timber. Romulus established laws and traditions, weaving a tapestry of governance and culture that would endure. And thus the eternal city began to rise, its flame lit by the dreams of one man. As the sun climbed higher, the story of Romulus and the city he founded led naturally to the next chapter, where the eternal flame would continue to burn brightly. In the heart of ancient Rome, the eternal flame flickered softly within the Temple of Vesta. This sacred flame, tended by the Vestal virgins, was a symbol of the city's enduring spirit and resilience. Imagine the gentle crackle of the fire echoing within the temple's marble walls, the air filled with the faint scent of burning olive oil. This flame was thought to embody the goddess Vesta herself, protector of the hearth and home, a constant reminder of Rome's divine favor and destiny. The Vestals, chosen from noble families, dedicated their lives to this sacred duty. Clad in pure white robes, they moved gracefully around the altar, their sandals whispering against the cool stone floor. It was said that as long as the flame burned, Rome would stand unshaken. The Vestals were revered, their lives a delicate balance of duty and privilege, their presence a living link to the city's mythic past. In those same streets, where the murmur of daily life mingled with the distant clamor of the Forum, the stories of Rome's beginnings were passed down. Tales of Romulus and Remus, of their noble lineage and the she-wolf that nurtured them, were woven into the fabric of Roman identity. These myths, like the flame, lit the way for generations to come, inspiring courage and unity. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm amber glow over the city, the flame continued its eternal dance. It flickered with the promise of new beginnings, a beacon guiding Rome into its future. And so, with each passing generation, the flame remained a testament to Rome's enduring legacy, illuminating the path to the dawn of an empire, where its influence would reach far beyond its ancient walls, shaping the world in ways both profound and enduring. As the sun began its slow ascent over the horizon, casting a gentle glow upon the charred remains of the city, Rome stood at a pivotal crossroads. The air, heavy with the acrid scent of burnt wood and smoldering ashes, hung over the once vibrant streets. In this moment of quiet desperation, the foundations of a future empire were being laid with every determined footstep taken by its resilient people. By 387 BC, Rome had endured the harrowing sack by the Gauls, a catastrophic event that could have broken a lesser city. Yet, amidst the ruins and the echoes of past defeat, the Romans' indomitable spirit burned as fiercely as ever. It was this resolve, forged in the crucible of adversity, that would propel them from a beleaguered city to the architects of an empire that would span continents. The Romans, ever mindful of their storied past, drew strength from their ancestors. The legendary tales of Romulus and Remus, the mythic founders of Rome, whispered through the ancient stones, urging the citizens to rise anew. The Tiber River, Its waters, reflecting the golden light of dawn, seemed to murmur encouragement to those who paused to listen. In the years that followed, the Romans would channel their grit and ingenuity into rebuilding their city, brick by brick, street by street. They reimagined their military, crafting legions that would become the envy of the ancient world. They codified laws that still echo in modern legal systems and built roads that connected distant lands to their burgeoning metropolis. And so, the path from a small settlement on the banks of the Tiber to a mighty empire was set. As the sun continued its climb, Rome's destiny unfurled, a testament to human resilience and ambition, reaching ever outward, shaping the world it would come to rule. As we leave the echoes of ancient Rome behind, we carry with us the stories and legacies that have shaped civilizations. The myths and realities of Rome's beginnings remind us of the power of resilience, tradition, and the human spirit. In the quiet of the night, let these tales of old lull you into dreams, where the past and present intertwine, whispering of times long gone, yet never forgotten. Good night.